And welcome to this battle report presented to you by Teddy AJ and Frog Fanatic. We are playing 1000 points, Ogres versus Dwarfs. It's the battle for the pass scenario, with the additional rule that non-fleeing units going over the sidelines will take a dangerous terrain test and be stopped at the sideline. It will not go over the board edge. Here we see the deployment, Dwarfs in the upper corner and Ogres centered in the middle. We have an obstacle in the middle of the board on possible terrain, can't see through it. We have a forest beneath the Ogres and hill in the middle of nothing, and if we can see this, there's a forest in the dwarf setting. Dwarfs are fielding 2 cannons, an organ gun, 20 great swords with a musician and a battle standard bearer, no, a standard bearer, not battle standard bearer. And then we have 18 longbeards with battle standard, and the general and a musician. Dwarfs is also fielding an engineer hiding in the forest. Ogres are fielding 17 ogres with a bellower and a standard bearer, and they have iron fists. There are also a BSB and a general. On the side they are fielding an iron blaster and 10 knobbars. So this is the battlefield scene from the dwarfs. Ogre's movement phase, Frog Fanatic is moving up. Everything is pre-measured, so he just has to move them to the dice. Sorry for zooming. So that was it for Ogre's movement. There are no magic in the Ogre turn 1, so we are going directly to shooting. The white die above the lower forest is marking the cannon's iron blaster's first impact. If I turn a bit, you can see he has a direct line through my organ gun and my cannon. So we are just measuring now. Yeah, so you're hitting both cannons. Second bounce, it's a 2. So it's about a direct hit on the one cannon. Number of wounds, we have a 4. Yes, the gun is shooting. 4 dice, hitting on 5s. 4 hits. Gun is wounding on 2s. Dwarf gun is taken out by the iron blaster. Going to dwarf turn 1, ogres are moved up as we see, and dwarfs are still in the corner, of course, they haven't moved. There's just one gun missing now. Dwarf movement phase, dwarfs are moving up to the dice. First the great weapons are moving a bit forward, and then the long beards are moving up. Yes, so what we will see here is that we are now trying to go down the narrow path with the great weapons, and longbeards are preparing to die. On to dwarfs shooting. The organ gun can precisely hit the knobbars, and the cannon is marked at the white dice just above the knobbars. We are starting with the cannon. The bounce is 8. Measuring 8 from the die will give us a hit directly on the iron blaster. And it bounces 6 on the other side, making it clear, not doing anything else. 6 wounds. Using my engineer's BS, I am hitting on 2s. So we have 1 miss. And here comes the wounds. Hitting on 2s, so 5 wounds. giving the Iron Blaster 5 wounds, taking it off the board. And now the organ gun are shooting at their Noblars. A 2, so I'm re-rolling the first one. And a damn misfire. Rolling on the misfire charge. A 2. The organ gun destroys itself with its misfire of 2. So end of Dwarf turn 1. Ogre's unit, Death Star unit is still intact. Noblars are intact. The Dwarfs are missing 2 smaller cannons, an organ gun and a dwarf cannon. And the Iron Blaster of course is gone. Yeah, so on to Ogre's turn 2. Movement phase, Ogre's turn 2. Ogres are moving up to the black dar, beneath the hill. Facing my longbeards and my great weapons. And the Noblars are moving a bit back. And that was Ogre's turn 2, on to Dwarf's turn 2. In Dwarf movement phase, the great weapons are moving up a bit, and then they will try to do a swift reform in a bit, but first the longbeards shuffle a bit to the side. And now we're trying to swift reform the great weapons on a 9. Ooh, it's a 9! So they will swift reform. So now we have a nice arc of defense against the Ogres. Going to shooting phase for the Dwarfs. The Dwarf cannon has marked 6 inches before the Ogres, going to the first bounce, making an 8. First bounce hitting Ogre in the second rank directly. And then of course a misfire, reroll on the engineer, and a 10. So a possibility of hitting 3 Ogres. The first Ogre is hit for 3 wounds. Dwarf cannon hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. 3 wounds. 1 is cut. Yeah, so first Ogre is dead. The second Ogre, 1 wound. Wounding and wounding. So 1 Ogre is dead and 1 Ogre is wounded by 1. I will just move this die to the back rank. Yeah. So that was Dwarf shooting and moving. So on to Ogre's turn 3. Ogre's turn 3. Ogres are charging their horde into the Longbeards. A die roll of 8, so no devastating Ogre charge. I am happy! And they are making it easy. So please move your Ogres in. And I'm standing and taking the goddamn hit. Yeah, move forward, 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 forward. And in the interest of the 1 inch apart. And still maximizing up here. Yeah, so. And the numbers are moving up, threatening the flank of my great swords. And we're taking the fear test for the Longbeards. A 7, so I pass. The 2 dwarf things, the general and the BSB, are hitting on the Ogre BSB. Hitting on 3s, wounding on 5s. So that was bad. 2 wounds. Ogre BSB armor save, 2 wounds, needed 6s, no. Then the parry save on 6s too, no. So 2 wounds are going in on the BSB. Placed there, yeah. The 2 Ogre Bruisers are hitting the Dwarf Regiment. Now. Needing 4s, so 3 hits. Bruisers needing 3s, so 1 hit. Dwarf saves their 1 wound on 6s, on the armor save, or 6 on the parry save. No, nothing. So 1 dead dwarf. Longbeard's hitting on the BSB, 2 of them hitting the BSB, and the rest of them are hitting the Ogre Regiment. So the black dice are on the BSB and the white dice are on the Ogres. Needing 3s or 3s to hit the Ogre unit and 4s to hit the BSB. So 1 on the BSB and 3 on the unit. Now to the wounding. The Ogres are on the wounded on 4s and the BSB on 5s. So we have 3 wounds to the unit and none to the BSB. Armor save needing 6s, none, and then parry save needing 6s, none. So the Ogres are hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s. And they are attacking the regiment. So this is the hits. Go. Now to the wounds for the Ogres. Wounding on 4s again. So 7 wounds. Dwarf armor save, saving on 5s. So 4 onto the parry save. None on the parry save. So 4 dwarfs are dead. Removing casualties, 1 ogre and 4 more dwarfs. So 5 dwarfs in total and 3 wounds on the ogres. Ogre stumps, making 3. Yes. Armor saving the stumps, 1. And parry saving, none. So 2 more. So 2 banners, 2 BSBs, I'm 1 rank short. I'm 2 wound short and a charge short, so it's on a 4. Making the hit on a 4, so I am staying in combat. Dwarfs turn 3. I am declaring charge with my great swords, great weapons on the ogres. Yay! An 8 plus my 3 movement. So I would say I am pretty much in. And then I am declaring a charge with my engineer into the ogres, just for the fun of it. And 8, so I am in. Then we have the fear test for the great weapons. A 6, so I passes. The engineer, a 10, and we reroll due to the BSB, a 12, so he can't hit.